Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Joffrey Noodle Legs here today. Today I'm doing another noodle film review. As I seem to be getting through them lately, so it's just really cool because I've got loads of films I want to sort of get through and review. So today I'm looking at 1980s Prom Night, another classic slasher. Let's have a look at this edition. It's done by 101 Films. Just cover that up. It's a bit racy. And it's a normal sort of Blu-ray edition with quite a few extra features on here. So let's give you a little synopsis on the film. The film starts off with these kids at like an old sort of ruined sort of building. Excuse me. I'm not sure if it's a hospital or a school or something like that. But they're at this building and they're playing hide and seek. And they're playing, this girl is saying, "Oh, the killer's going to get you." She's playing like the killer. And she's going to catch him. In England, it's called hide and seek, and it's not like a killer. You just got to find people that are hiding. But she's going to say, "Oh, the killer's going to find you. The killer's going to," and she starts searching for the kids. And then some other kids turn up from outside, ones that are not really playing with the kids that are playing hide and seek. Obviously, they're not as attached to this group of friends. Anyway, one of the girls goes in because she sees one of the lads climbing on the roof. She's going in to see him, see if he's all right. And then they start scaring her and spooking her out. And she's then starts running away from the other kids because they keep saying, "No, the killer's going to get you. The killer's going to get you." And then they sort of corner her. So the kids, as you can see, they sort of backing her into this corner, and she gets by this window and she falls out the window and gets killed. She falls down out the window and onto this sort of pane of glass, and you can see all blood sort of around her throat in areas where she's sort of like being cut and dead. So all the other kids are thinking, "Oh my God," you know. So then they make a pact to swear that they will never talk about it.
No one but us will ever know. Do you swear? I swear. Kelly? Kelly! I don't want to go to jail. Swear? I swear. Nick? Nick! I'll never tell. Good. Let's go.
So that they make a pact to, so they won't get blamed. And I think what actually happens, some other guy that turns up, um, who gets chased by the police, I think, and he ends up being in like a car fire and burnt up horribly, and ends up in like a sort of mental hospital. And they think he's the killer of the young girl, which obviously we all know he's not. But he ends up going to this hospital. You don't see all this, but the backstory sort of explains that to you. And later on in the film, he escapes, and they're looking for this guy, but he's actually nothing to do with the film at all. But yeah, they'll start looking for the wrong guy. But anyway, back to the place where the girl dies, and Lieutenant Dreven turns up. So there we go, Leslie Nielsen there. He's not actually a police officer in this, which is weird because what's he doing there? And he plays like the school sort of like headmaster in England. They call them headmasters. I'm not sure what they call in America. I'm not sure if it's a dean or whatever they call them. Principal. Uh, I only think principal because it reminds me of The Simpsons. But yeah, he plays the principal of the school, but and over here is the headmaster. So he's there investigating. I believe the young girl that's died is his young girl. I think. I'm sure it is. I'm not sure. Actually, probably not. Probably not. I'm not. I can't. It's not really explained. Anyway, he turns up, and the police sort of turn up and investigate. And like I said, they believe it to be this guy that they pursue, and he ends up being in an accident, but it's the wrong guy anyway. So let's carry on with the story. So then it cuts to a bit later on, and it says 6 years later, and then they're at the grave of the young girl.
Bye. Time to go. We've got to get back.
So there we see the first time we see Jamie Lee Curtis, who looks amazing in this film. She looks so cool. She looks amazing, and with her brother, not real life brother, but brother in the film, they're both there, obviously visiting the grave. This is why I think it's their younger sister. I'm not sure. It's not really explained who that girl was. So they're there visiting, and then we cut to them at home, and Jamie Lee's talking to her brother about getting dates for the prom.
I'm very sophisticated. Come on, Noodle. I may be hard up. Alex, she's cute. Besides, she's very funny and very intelligent. It'll give you somebody to do your equations with.
Oh, great. You know I'm in charge of the sound system.
Not bad, but it isn't romance.
So there's a lot of sort of jibber jabber going on about stuff, and then you get a bit more of a sort of character sort of building, getting to see some of these kids. Well, they were kids, they were 10, and then now 6 years later they're supposed to be 16. Okay, so you get a little bit of character building, and then they all start receiving these phone calls.
Hello?
Jude. Yes?
Can you come out to play tonight? I'll see you at the prom.
Still no date.
So it gets these weird phone calls, obviously from someone trying to scare them, and then for some bizarre reason we cut to Haddonfield.
Hey, beautiful Noodle.
No thanks.
Come on, I won't bite.
So who are you?
Seymour Crane. But, they call me Slick.
I can see why. How old are you, Slick?
Old enough.
I've heard about guys like you running over girls on the sidewalk.
For some girls, if they're good looking, I give them a ride.
Okay, yeah, right. Well, I know it's not Haddonfield, but it looks exactly the same as Haddonfield, doesn't it, from Halloween? Yeah, so that dude in the car, he's actually quite funny. I quite like him. He's quite a cool character. So he's sort of introduced himself to this girl, and she's accepted the lift, and they sort of become an item in the film. And then one of the other girls from that night, meaning from the hide and seek game, gets a phone call too.
Kelly, it's been a long time. Tonight, it's my turn.
Then we catch up with our girls back at high school with Unibrow. He must be the ugliest kid in the school, but he thinks he's, I don't know, the sort of a wannabe Elvis. I'm not sure, but I don't know. It's a weird looking guy.
Girl, must be fun. Why, look how he has to hold her up.
Go sit on it, Abe.
Uh-oh.
Then we cut to another building. I'm not sure if it's the same building as the young girl was murdered in, but we cut to another building because there's been another body found. And this is body here. I think this is where they think that, you know, like I told you about this killer that that they think is the main sort of killer in the film. They I think this is where it gets involved from. I think this is where the story plot comes in, because they think it's that killer. Anyway, they actually find that killer 15 odd miles away, because he's got out of the mental asylum, and they find him 15 miles away, nothing to do with these at all. So it's not this the killer they think it is that's doing this stuff. So that all gets explained in the film. I won't go into too much. Then we cut to the sort of like a dance score where Jamie Lee shows us her moves. Then we cut back to the school, and there's the kids are playing like tennis or stuff, and there's like a caretaker there, and once again they're trying to shove the audience, suspicion onto the caretaker. I recognise the caretaker. I think he's been in a few David Cronenberg films. I can't remember his name, but he looks familiar. But they're trying to sway you over that he's the one that's doing the killings. So they try and do that there. It's a bit of a fail, because straight away you think, no, it's not him. He's too weird. Just like in Pieces, when they try and get you to think it's the caretaker there, Brutus. But yeah, it's just too obvious. So anyway, from there it cuts to you see this. I don't know who it is, but it's sort of like digging out photographs from an old yearbook. Then we cut back to the high school with Jamie Lee in it, and they find they're in the showers after the tennis thing, and they hear this noise, and they look and they find a broken mirror and bits of the mirror missing, and so they find that. Then they go to you see all the girls like Wendy and all that, all the girls that were involved in the hide and seek thing. They in their lockers they find the pictures from the yearbook. They're all pinned up with bits of mirror on them and stuff like that. So yeah, and I think the bit of mirror that he's took is supposed to be like the weapon. So there's a big sort of like sliver of a mirror gone. But yeah, they all find their pictures in the locker. And then the film kicks into like Prom Night, and it's like a huge sort of disco. Then you get a nice bit of Saturday Night Fever bit with Jamie Lee Curtis doing her dancing, which I actually quite enjoyed. I thought, yeah, it's very cheesy, but it's so of its time. It's so 1980s. It's great. I love it. I love these sort of things, the Prom Night sort of thing, like Carrie and stuff. And then the killer goes on the rampage. So that's all I'm going to tell you. So who is the killer? I mean, it's a bit like Pieces. This film is very similar to Pieces, to be honest. Not as gory or as funny, but it's very similar. And it leaves you to the last minute to find out who the killer is. You know, I was wrong. I thought it was going to be a Officer Dreville, Leslie Nielsen. I thought it was going to be him, but no, it wasn't. That's the only giveaway I'm going to give you. But you're going to need to find out who it is by watching the movie. So what I think of the movie, I actually really, really enjoyed it. I've not seen this for about I had it on VHS, and I've not seen it since then. So I'm talking. I've not seen this since probably 1986, 87, 88. So I've not seen this for a long time, and it was great to revisit it. Um, it's a great film, really cool. I absolutely loved it, really enjoyed it. A lot of people give it a bit of a harsh review because it's not the goriest or anything like that, and it's a slow burn film. It's not like uh, there's lots of sort of there are some killings, and they all happen in the latter part of the film, a bit like Carrie. But it all happens in the latter part of the film. Um, but yeah, it is a bit like that. But I like that. Halloween itself was like that. There was no sort of gore or lots of killings. It was just like the story, and the story makes this film really cool too. And I think it gets a bit of undeserved flack, in my opinion. The pluses of this, the transfer is really cool. It's got quite a bit of grain in it, which I like because it keeps that authenticity up of its era, making everything look. Why do you want everything to look polished? I don't understand that. A lot of people say, "Oh, too much grain on these films." It's just like, "Oh, yeah, it doesn't look as good as this." But because this was made when they didn't have the technology that they got now, and a part of its charm and its history is that grain, is those little bits of film marks, and I love that when the film still has them in it. I think it really makes the film special. And the Bay of Blood is one particular got quite a bit of grain in it, which I love. And Just Before Dawn, and I love that they've kept the grain in it. It's really cool. It's almost like you're back then watching it when it first came out, and I love that. The cast is great. It's really well acted, to be honest. It's very similar acting to Halloween. I like the story and the subplot and the locations. It does look very much like Pieces. I love it. The negative, I suppose for a lot of people, it can be a bit too slow. With not a lot going on. A lot of people might not like all the sort of bits of disco dancing going on in there, and some people might not like the fact it's not got really hardly any gore, but it has got some. It's got a really cool bit near the end, really cool. But negatives from my point of view, there isn't many, to be honest. I absolutely enjoyed it. I loved it. So I'm going to score this film an awesome watch. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. I think it deserves that. It's a really good film, underrated slasher, to be honest. I don't think it's in my underrated slasher top 10, but now I kind of wish I've put it in there because I've seen people's reviews in it, and it's always quite low on people's favorite slasher movies or horror movies, and I don't understand why, because it was great. It's like a bit like an American Giallo film, if you like, and I quite really enjoyed it, and I thought it was such a great watch. 8 out of 10, Prom Night. And Jamie Lee Curtis, she's fantastic in this film. She's awesome. She makes the film. She's brilliant. Everything that woman touches, just gold. I love the woman. I really do. She's just incredible. She's just my favorite actress. She's beautiful, and she's awesome off screen as well as on. And I just really like the woman. I've got a lot of time for Jamie Lee Curtis. So that's my little review of Prom Night. Have any of you guys seen it? Let me know what you think below. Now, I have seen the remake and I didn't really like it. And I don't own it. So I have no need to own it because I own this one. And you can't beat that. So let me know down below what you thought of Prom Night. Please check out some horror channels for me, guys, before my next videos. Check out Horror Hands. Check out The Horror Geek. Check out Man v Film. Check out I Am Ice Lord, Pizzlewell, Sarah of Horror, RS Designs. All amazing channels, guys. Please check them out for me. Until next time, you look after yourselves, look after one another, and I really hope I'll see you all soon.